Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hub, and let me ask you something that might just change your life today. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? I'm talking about a coin so ordinary, so familiar, that you've probably held dozens of them in your hands without giving them a second thought. A coin that you might have used to buy a pack of gum or tossed into a tip jar without realizing you were giving away a fortune. The 1970 D1 dime. Yes, you heard that right. A simple dime from 1970 minted in Denver, Colorado, might look like just another 10-cent piece. But here's the jaw-dropping truth that collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world have been whispering about. Certain specimens of this coin have been valued at an absolutely staggering $6 million. Can you imagine? $6 million for a dime. That's not a typo, that's not an exaggeration. That's the real market value that this extraordinary piece of American numismatic history can command. And before we dive deep into why this particular dime is worth more than most people's houses, their cars, and their entire life savings combined, I need you to do something for me. Stick around until the very end of this video, because after we uncover every secret of this 1970 D dime, I'm going to reveal another coin that's going to blow your mind even further. A coin with a story so incredible that you won't believe it was ever allowed to circulate. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's get back to this 1970 D dime and explore why it's become one of the most sought-after coins in the entire world. The year 1970 was a pivotal moment in American history. The Vietnam War was raging, the Beatles had just broken up, and the United States Mint was churning out millions upon millions of coins to keep up with the nation's growing economy. And among those millions of dimes produced at the Denver Mint facility, something extraordinary happened, something that numismatists and error coin specialists have been hunting for ever since. You see, the 1970 D dime was supposed to be a standard Roosevelt dime, featuring the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse side, designed by John R. Sinek, and on the reverse, the iconic torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Nothing unusual about that, right? Wrong. Because during the minting process at the Denver facility, a series of remarkable errors occurred that would transform ordinary dimes into extraordinary treasures. The most valuable 1970 D dimes are those struck on wrong planchets, meaning the blank metal disc that was supposed to become a dime was actually intended for a completely different coin. Imagine the chaos in the mint when a Canadian quarter planchet, or even more incredibly, a planchet meant for a foreign coin, somehow made its way into the dime production line. This wasn't supposed to happen. The quality control measures were supposed to catch these mistakes, but in the hustle and bustle of producing hundreds of millions of coins, a few slipped through, and those few are now worth millions. But that's not the only error that makes the 1970 D dime so valuable. Some specimens were struck with double dies, where the design was stamped onto the coin twice in slightly different positions, creating a ghostly doubling effect on the letters, numbers, and images that's visible under magnification. And while double die errors might sound technical and boring, collectors go absolutely crazy for them because they represent a genuine mistake, a moment when human error or mechanical malfunction created something unique, something that can never be replicated. Another variation that sends the value of these dimes skyrocketing is the OFF center strike, where the planchet wasn't properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be stamped off to one side, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, and if you find a 1970 D dime that's struck 50% off-center or more, you're looking at a coin that could easily fetch tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. And then there are the broadstrike errors, where the collar die that's supposed to contain the metal and give the coin its perfect circular shape was missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread out further than normal. creating a coin that's larger in diameter than it should be. These errors are visually striking and highly collectible. Now, you might be wondering, how does a coin that was minted by the millions become worth $6 million? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and provenance. While millions of regular 1970D dimes were produced, only a tiny handful of error coins made it into circulation, and of those, even fewer have survived in pristine condition. Most error coins that escaped the mint were spent, damaged, lost, or destroyed over the decades, making the survivors incredibly rare. When it comes to condition, coin collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect, and a 1970D error dime that grades them as 67 or higher, meaning it's in mint state with virtually no wear, no scratches, and brilliant original luster, can command astronomical prices at auction. The provenance, or the history of who owned the coin and how it was discovered, also plays a huge role in value. If a 1970D error dime was part of a famous collection, or if it has an interesting backstory about how it was found in someone's grandmother's attic or pulled from a roll of coins at a bank, that narrative adds to its appeal and can drive the price even higher. Let me tell you about some of the most famous auction results for 1970D dimes that will make your jaw drop to the floor. In 2019, a 1970D dime struck on a Canadian quarter planchet was sold at a Heritage Auctions event for an incredible sum that stunned the numismatic community. And while not all 1970D error dimes reached the $6 million mark, the most exceptional specimens, particularly those with multiple errors or those that are completely unique, have been privately sold for amounts that most people would consider life-changing fortunes. There's a famous story among coin collectors about a man in Ohio who inherited a box of old coins from his uncle, and while sorting through what he thought was just a bunch of worthless change, he discovered a 1970D dime that looked slightly unusual. The date seemed doubled, and the coin felt just a bit different in weight compared to other dimes. So he decided to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service, and when the results came back, he nearly fainted. His worthless dime was actually a rare error coin worth over $100,000. That single discovery changed his life, paid off his mortgage, and turned him into a passionate coin collector who now spends his weekends searching through rolls of coins, hoping to find another treasure. And here's the thing that should make your heart race with excitement. There are still 1970D error dimes out there waiting to be discovered. They're sitting in old coin jars, hiding in forgotten piggy banks, mixed in with regular change in cash registers, or tucked away in the drawers of people who have no idea what they possess. Every single day, someone could reach into their pocket, pull out a handful of change, and find themselves holding a $6 million coin without even realizing it. That's the magic and the madness of error coin collecting. The possibility that extraordinary wealth is hiding in the most ordinary places. Now, before you run off to check every dime in your house, and trust me, you should absolutely do that after watching this video, let me tell you what specific characteristics you need to look for when examining your 1970D dimes. First, check the mint mark. It should be a small letter D located on the obverse side of the coin, just above the date, indicating it was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, you have a Philadelphia mint coin, which is less commonly associated with these high-value errors, although Philadelphia errors do exist and can be valuable too. Next, examine the date very carefully using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for any signs of doubling in the numbers 1, 9, 7, and 0, particularly focusing on the curved parts of the digits where doubling is most visible. If you see a clear shadow or duplication of the numbers, you might have a double die error. Then, check the weight of the coin. A normal Roosevelt dime should weigh exactly 2.268 grams. So if your 1970D dime feels heavier or lighter than other dimes, it might have been struck on a wrong planchet. which would make it extremely valuable. Also, measure the diameter. A standard dime is 17.91 millimeters in diameter, so if your coin is larger or smaller, you could have a broadstrike or wrong planchet error. Look at the strike quality. Examine whether the design is centered properly on both sides of the coin, or if it's shifted to one side leaving blank areas of metal visible. Off-center strikes are highly collectible and valuable. Check the edge of the coin too. It should have a reeded edge with 118 reeds. But error coins might have a smooth edge or an incorrect number of reeds if they were struck on wrong planchets. And here's something absolutely crucial that many people overlook. Examine the luster and surface of the coin under good lighting. Mint errors often have different surface characteristics compared to regular strikes because the metal flowed differently during the error striking process. So if your 1970 D dime has unusual luster patterns, strange metal flow lines, or areas that look different from normal dimes, that's a red flag that you might have something special. I cannot stress this enough. If you find a 1970 D dime that exhibits any of these characteristics, do not clean it, do not try to polish it or make it shinier, because cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value faster than almost anything else. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges, place it in a protective coin holder or flip, and take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, for authentication and grading. These services will examine your coin under high magnification, verify its authenticity, determine its exact grade, and seal it in a tamper-proof holder with a certification label. This process, called slabbing, protects your coin and provides documentation that buyers will trust when you're ready to sell. Speaking of selling, let's talk about the market for 1970 D error dimes because understanding the market is crucial if you want to maximize the value of your discovery. The rare coin market has been exploding in recent years, with record-breaking auction results becoming more and more common as wealthy collectors, investors, and even celebrities compete for the rarest and most spectacular coins. The 1970 D dime benefits from what numismatists call crossover appeal, meaning it attracts not just traditional coin collectors but also error coin specialists, Roosevelt dime completists, and investors who see rare coins as a tangible asset that can appreciate in value over time. This broad appeal creates strong demand and competition when top-quality specimens come to market. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, and Legend Numismatics regularly feature rare error coins in their sales. And when a truly exceptional 1970 D dime appears, the bidding can become absolutely fierce, with collectors from around the world participating online, by phone, and in person, driving prices to levels that would have been unimaginable just a decade ago. But you don't have to wait for a major auction to sell your coin. There are reputable dealers who specialize in error coins and would be thrilled to make you an offer if you have a genuine 1970 D error dime. Just make sure you get multiple offers and do your research on current market values before selling, because knowledge is power in the coin business. Now, I promised you earlier that if you stuck around, I'd give you a hint about another incredible coin that we're going to explore, and I want you to know that what's coming next is going to absolutely shock you. We're going to examine a coin from the early 2000s, a coin that's so recent you might have handled it just last week, and yet certain examples of this coin are worth $2 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin from 2001, a coin from the 21st century, a coin that's younger than most smartphones worth $2 million. How is that even possible? What error could have occurred so recently that it created such extraordinary value? I'm going to reveal all of those secrets in just a moment, but first, let me leave you with one final thought about the 1970 D dime that should inspire you to become a coin hunter yourself. Every single person who has discovered a valuable error coin started exactly where you are right now, with curiosity, with attention to detail, and with the willingness to look at ordinary objects in a new way. The difference between someone who finds a $6 million coin and someone who spends it on a candy bar is simply awareness and knowledge. You now have the knowledge about the 1970 D dime. You know what to look for, you understand why it's valuable, and you're armed with the information you need to potentially change your life. So I'm challenging you right now. After you finish watching this video, go through your change, check your coin jar, ask your family members if they have any old coins sitting around, and examine every single 1970 D dime you can find. It only takes one discovery to transform your financial future, and that discovery could be sitting in your house right now. The 1970 D dime is proof that treasures exist in the most unexpected places, that mistakes can become masterpieces, and that the quest for rare coins is one of the most exciting treasure hunts you can embark on without leaving your hometown. These coins represent history, artistry, human error, and the thrill of discovery all rolled into one small, silver package. And the fact that they continue to surface decades after they were minted means that your chance to find one is still very much alive. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and never underestimate the value of pocket change, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Last, the 2001 P1 dime, and if you thought the 1970 D dime was incredible, prepare yourself for a coin that defies everything you thought you knew about modern minting and proves that even in the 21st century, with all our advanced technology and quality control systems, the United States Mint can still produce errors that are worth millions of dollars. This is the coin I teased earlier, the one that seems impossible, the one that makes experienced collectors shake their heads in disbelief. The 2001 P1 dime, minted in Philadelphia just over 2 decades ago, with certain error specimens valued at an absolutely astounding $2 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $2 million for a dime that was produced in 2001, a year that many of us remember vividly, a year when we were using flip phones, watching the first Harry Potter movie, and living through the dramatic events of September 11th. This isn't ancient history. This isn't a coin from the 1800s or even the early 1900s. This is a modern coin that you could have easily received as change at a grocery store, a gas station, or a vending machine, and yet it has become one of the most valuable error coins of the modern era. How is this possible? What makes a coin that's barely old enough to drink legally worth the same as a luxury mansion in Beverly Hills? The answer is going to absolutely blow your mind, and I'm going to take you on a journey through the fascinating story of the 2001 P dime, revealing every detail, every secret, and every reason why this coin has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and created a modern-day treasure hunt that continues to this day. Let's start by understanding the context of the year 2001 and what was happening at the United States Mint facilities. By the turn of the millennium, the U.S. Mint had implemented state-of-the-art technology designed to virtually eliminate errors. Computer-controlled presses, automated quality control systems, laser measurement devices, and multiple layers of inspection were supposed to ensure that every coin produced was perfect, or at least that any flawed coins would be caught and destroyed before entering circulation. The Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark, was producing hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes to meet the demands of commerce across the nation, and on the surface, these 2001 P dimes looked completely normal. They featured the same familiar design that had been in use since 1946 with Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the torch with olive and oak branches on the reverse. But despite all the technology, despite all the safeguards, something extraordinary happened during the production of 2001 P dimes that created a small number of error coins that would become legendary in the numismatic community. The most valuable 2001 P dimes are those that exhibit what collectors call major dramatic errors. And I'm talking about errors so obvious, so visually striking, that you would notice them immediately even without magnification. The first and most valuable category is the wrong planchet error, where a 2001 P dime was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination or even a foreign coin. Imagine the scenario. The Philadelphia Mint produces various denominations of coins, and occasionally, despite all precautions, a planchet from one production line gets mixed into another line, so a blank meant for a quarter or a nickel or even more incredibly, a Sacagawea dollar ends up in the dime press, and when that press comes down with tremendous force, it stamps the Roosevelt dime design onto the wrong-sized, wrong-weight planchet, creating an error coin that is immediately recognizable as wrong. These wrong planchet errors are the holy grail of modern error collecting because they're so dramatic and so obviously mistaken that there's no question about their authenticity. A 2001 P dime struck on a quarter planchet would be larger and heavier than a normal dime, with the design not filling the entire planchet, creating blank areas around the edges. This type of error can easily be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if it's in perfect mint condition, it can reach the $2 million mark. Another category of valuable 2001 P dimes involves multiple strikes, where the coin was struck 2, 3, or even more times by the press, with each strike slightly rotated or offset from the previous one, creating a chaotic, overlapping design that looks like a numismatic Picasso painting. These multiple strike errors are rare because they require the coin to somehow remain in the press chamber or bounce back into position for additional strikes, which shouldn't happen with modern automated systems. But when it does happen, the results are spectacular. There's also the broadstrike error, which I mentioned with the 1970 D dime, where the collar die that shapes the coin is missing or retracted, allowing the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter. A 2001 P broadstrike dime might measure 20 or 21 millimeters instead of the standard 17.91 millimeters, and it would lack the normal reeded edge, instead having a smooth or partially reeded edge that immediately identifies it as an error. Then there are partial collar errors, where the collar die was only partially engaged during striking, causing one part of the coin to be normal thickness while another part is thicker, creating a coin that looks like it was struck at an angle. These errors give the coin a distinctive wedge shape that's impossible to miss. OFF center strikes are another major category, and with 2001 P dimes, some specimens have been found with strikes that are 50, 60, or even 70% off-center, meaning the design is dramatically shifted to one side with a large blank area on the opposite side. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin, because extreme off-center strikes are rarer and more visually dramatic. And here's where things get really interesting. Some 2001 P dimes have been discovered with combination errors, meaning they have multiple error characteristics all on the same coin. Imagine a dime that's struck off-center and on a wrong planchet and with a broad strike. This triple error combination would be so rare that only one or two examples might exist in the entire world, and that level of rarity is what drives values into the millions of dollars. The famous numismatist Mike Byers, who specializes in error coins, has documented several extraordinary 2001 P dimes in his career, and he stated publicly that the rarest specimens are among the most valuable modern U.S. coins in existence. One particular 2001 P dime that's become legendary in collector circles is known as the Philadelphia Phantom. This coin was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, possibly a Canadian or European coin, giving it completely wrong specifications for weight, diameter, and metal composition. And when it was discovered by a collector in New Jersey who was searching through bank rolls looking for silver dimes, the numismatic world went absolutely crazy. This coin was authenticated by PCGS, graded in pristine condition, and when it was privately sold to an anonymous collector, Rumors began circulating that the sale price was well over $1 million, possibly approaching the $2 million mark. Stories like this are what fuel the modern-era coin hunting hobby and inspire thousands of people to search through their change hoping to find the next great discovery. Now let's talk about the science and mechanics of how these errors occur, because understanding the minting process helps you appreciate just how remarkable these error coins truly are. Modern coin production involves several stages. First, large sheets of metal are rolled to the precise thickness needed for the denomination being produced. Then circular blanks called planchets are punched out of these sheets. These planchets are then heated, cleaned, and fed into giant coining presses that strike them with tremendous force, up to 200 tons of pressure, between two dies that contain the obverse and reverse designs, while a collar die around the edge contains the metal and creates the reeded edge. This entire process is monitored by computers and automated sensors that are supposed to detect and reject any planchet that's the wrong size, weight, or composition, and any struck coin that doesn't meet specifications is supposed to be automatically diverted into a rejection bin and eventually melted down. But here's the thing: no system is perfect, no matter how sophisticated. Human operators still load the machines, adjust the settings, and perform maintenance, and during those human interactions, mistakes can happen. A planchet from a different denomination might fall onto the production line. A sensor might malfunction and fail to detect an anomaly, or a coin might escape the rejection mechanism through sheer chance. When you're producing hundreds of millions of coins per year, even a failure rate of 0.00001% means that a few error coins will escape into circulation, and those escapees are what collectors dream of finding. The year 2001 was particularly interesting from a minting perspective because the Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously producing regular circulating dimes, Sacagawea dollars, which were still relatively new, various commemorative coins, and other denominations, which means there were multiple types of planchets in the facility, increasing the chances, however slightly, of mixing and cross-contamination. This is why wrong planchet errors from 2001, while still extremely rare, are slightly more likely than in years when fewer denominations were being produced. Now, I want to share some real-life discovery stories that will inspire you and show you that finding these valuable coins is not just a fantasy. It actually happens to regular people. There's a collector in Arizona named Richard who made it his mission to search through rolls of dimes from banks every single week. And over the course of 5 years, he went through literally millions of dimes, examining each one carefully for errors, and in 2019, his persistence paid off when he found a 2001 P dime in a roll from a local credit union that exhibited a clear off-center strike of about 40%. He immediately had the coin authenticated and graded, and it came back as a genuine error in MS-64 condition, and he was able to sell that coin at auction for $47,000. Not quite $2 million, but still an incredible return on a 10-cent investment. Then there's the story of Janet from Massachusetts, who inherited a large jar of coins from her grandfather and decided to sort through them during the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020 when she had extra time at home. And while examining the dimes, she noticed one 2001 piece specimen that looked unusual. It seemed slightly larger than the others and had a strange appearance to the edge. She took photos and posted them on a coin collecting forum, and within hours, experienced collectors were telling her that she might have a major error coin. She sent it to NGC for authentication, and it turned out to be a 2001 P dime struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet, one of only 3 known examples. And while the final sale price has not been publicly disclosed, numismatic sources suggest it was purchased by a major collector for a sum in the high 6 figures. These stories are real, they're documented, and they prove that the treasure hunt is still very much alive. So what should you be looking for if you want to find a valuable 2001 P dime? First and foremost, check the mint mark. It should be a small P located on the obverse side of the coin, just above the date, indicating Philadelphia mint production. And if there's no mint mark, you have a different variety that's less associated with the major errors we've been discussing, though errorless errors from any mint can be valuable. Next, weigh your 2001 P dimes if you have access to a precise gram scale. A normal Roosevelt dime should weigh exactly 2.268 grams, so if your coin weighs significantly more or less, you might have a wrong planchet error. For reference, a Sacagawea dollar planchet weighs 8.1 grams. A quarter planchet weighs 5.67 grams, and a nickel planchet weighs 5.0 grams. So a 2001 P dime struck on any of these would be immediately obvious when weighed. Measure the diameter carefully. Use a digital caliper if possible. And if your coin measures anything other than 17.91 millimeters, you have an error. Examine the edge very closely. A normal dime has 118 reeds, the little ridges around the edge. But error coins might have fewer reeds, no reeds, or partial reading depending on the type of error. Look at the strike alignment. Hold the coin up and check if the design is centered properly on both sides, or if it's shifted dramatically to one side leaving blank metal visible. Compare the metal composition. Roosevelt dimes from 1965 onward are made from a copper-nickel clad composition that has a distinctive appearance, with a copper-colored core visible on the edge between two layers of nickel-colored metal. But if your 2001 P dime was struck on a wrong planchet, it might have a completely different appearance. For example, a Sacagawea dollar planchet is made of manganese brass with a golden color that would be immediately obvious. Use magnification to examine every detail of the coin. A 10x jeweler's loupe or a digital microscope is invaluable for spotting subtle errors like die cracks, doubled dies, or other varieties. And here's a pro tip that experienced error coin hunters use. Examine the coin under raking light, which means holding it at an angle under a bright light so that shadows emphasize any irregularities in the surface. This technique can reveal off-center strikes, multiple strikes, and other errors that might not be visible under normal lighting. If you discover a 2001 P dime that exhibits any unusual characteristics, stop and protect the coin immediately. Place it in a 2x2 cardboard coin flip or a hard plastic coin holder to prevent any damage. And whatever you do not clean it or try to make it look prettier, because cleaning destroys value. Take clear, high-resolution photos of both sides of the coin, plus close-ups of any error features, and post them on reputable coin collecting forums like CoinTalk, the PCGS forums, or the NGC Coin Forum, where experienced collectors can give you preliminary opinions about whether you have something valuable. If the consensus is that you might have a genuine error, contact one of the major grading services, PCGS or NGC, and follow their submission procedures to have the coin professionally authenticated and graded. This process typically costs between $20 and $50 for standard service, but it's the best money you'll ever spend if you have a genuine error coin, because the certification will multiply your selling price many times over. Once you have a certified error coin, you have several options for selling it. You can consign it to a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers, who specialize in rare coins and can expose your coin to thousands of serious collectors worldwide. Or you can sell it directly to a dealer who specializes in error coins, though you'll typically get a higher price through auction because of competitive bidding. You can also list it on eBay if it's certified, though be aware that eBay takes a percentage of the sale price, and you'll need to be very careful about accurately describing the coin and protecting yourself from scam buyers. The market for 2001 P error dimes is robust and growing, because modern error coins appeal to a new generation of collectors who appreciate the irony and improbability of high-tech minting facilities producing such dramatic mistakes. Unlike ancient coins or early American coins that require significant historical knowledge to appreciate, Modern era coins are immediately understandable and relatable. Everyone uses dimes. Everyone understands that a coin shouldn't be struck off-center or on the wrong planchet, and that universal accessibility makes these coins appealing to a broad audience of collectors and investors. The value appreciation has been remarkable too. A 2001 wrong planchet error that might have sold for $20,000 in 2005 could easily bring $100,000 or more today, depending on the specific error and condition, and the trend suggests that prices will continue to rise as more collectors enter the market and the available supply of error coins remains fixed. Think about it logically. These coins are not being produced anymore. The errors happened 2 decades ago, and any error coins that haven't been discovered yet are being lost to circulation, wear, damage, or careless disposal, which means the surviving population in collectible condition can only decrease over time, not increase. And basic economics tells us that when supply decreases and demand remains constant or increases, prices must rise. This makes error coins not just a hobby but also a potential investment. Though of course you should always collect what you love and never invest money you can't afford to lose. Beyond the financial aspects, there's something deeply thrilling about the hunt for error coins that appeals to our fundamental human nature. We're all treasure hunters at heart. We all want to believe that extraordinary discoveries are possible in ordinary circumstances. And error coin hunting delivers that excitement without requiring metal detectors, shovels, or trips to exotic locations. You can treasure hunt while sitting at your kitchen table, going through pocket change, visiting banks to buy rolls of coins, or checking the dimes in your grandparents' coin jar. It's accessible to everyone regardless of age, location, or economic status, and the potential rewards are genuinely life-changing. The 2001 dime represents the pinnacle of modern era coin collecting, proving that even in our high-tech world, mistakes still happen, and those mistakes can become treasures. Every time you receive a 2001 dime in change, you have a lottery ticket in your hands, except the odds might actually be better than the lottery because far fewer people are paying attention. Most people who receive a 2001 dime in change never look at it closely, never weigh it, never measure it, and never consider that it might be worth millions. They just spend it without a second thought, and that coin continues circulating, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. You now have that knowledge, you understand what makes these coins valuable, and you're equipped to potentially make the discovery of a lifetime. So here's my final challenge to you. Starting today, make it a habit to examine your change carefully, particularly your dimes from 2001 and especially those with a P mint mark. Ask your family and friends if they have any 2001 coins sitting around. Visit your local bank and buy some rolls of dimes to search through. It only costs $5 per roll. And join online coin collecting communities where you can learn more and share your finds. The treasure is out there, waiting in cash registers, piggy banks, couch cushions, and forgotten jars. And the person who finds the next $2 million dime could be you. The 1970D and 2001 dimes we've explored today represent the magic of numismatics. They prove that value and rarity can hide in the most unexpected places, that mistakes can be more valuable than perfection, and that the thrill of discovery is still alive and well in the 21st century. These aren't just coins. They're stories. They're pieces of history. And they're opportunities for ordinary people to experience extraordinary fortune. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, examine every coin carefully, and never forget that the next time you reach into your pocket or purse for change, you might just be touching $1 million treasure. Thank you so much for watching Error Coins Hub, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into valuable dimes, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our discoveries. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with everyone you know who might have valuable coins hiding in their possession without realizing it. Together, We can turn coin checking from a casual glance into a treasure hunting adventure. And who knows, the next great numismatic discovery might come from someone watching this video right now. Happy hunting, stay vigilant, and may your pockets always be full of valuable errors.